Right now, somewhere in China, there is a 2.5-ton family SUV with 40 cubic feet of cargo space, a refrigerator between the seats, and a reclining lounge chair in the second row. It gets to 62 miles per h in 2.96 seconds. That is nearly 400 horsepower more than a Lamborghini Urus. In a vehicle shaped like a school run, and it costs about $70,000. But here is the strange part. The most revealing number on this car is not the horsepower. It is what 95% of buyers did with their money in the first 29 minutes. It was on sale. Hold that thought, because it tells you exactly where the global car market is going. This is the ZEEKR 8X, and no, you cannot buy one in America. So why should you care? Because ZEEKR is owned by Geely, the same company that owns Volvo and Polestar, brands sitting in American driveways right now. ZEEKR already ships to more than 50 countries. This car is not a concept and not a science project. It is a production vehicle you can order today, and it sets the bar that every $50,000 SUV in your future will quietly be measured against. The next few minutes are the briefing on what that money buys on the other side of the Pacific, and why the companies you buy from are watching this launch with sweaty palms. Start with a number that crashed ZEEKR's ordering app. The flagship trim, called the Yoing Edition, pairs a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with 3 electric motors. Combined system output is 1,030 kilowatts. Call it roughly 1,380 horsepower the way America measures it. The electric motors alone deliver just over 1,040 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 62 miles per h are in 2.96 seconds. ZEEKR claims it is the fastest accelerating hybrid SUV in the world. And remember the packaging. This thing is nearly 17 feet long, rides on a wheelbase of almost 121 inches, and seats a family in lounge chairs. When you roll into the throttle on a highway merge, it does not accelerate so much as delete the distance between you and the horizon. And that is the crazy trim. The regular versions run 2 motors instead of 3, 885 horsepower. 690 pound-feet, 62 miles per h in 3.7 seconds. The slow one out drags almost everything at your local dealership. Now, big hybrid power usually means a thirsty, unrefined gas engine screaming to keep up. Not here. The 2-liter turbo makes 275 horsepower on its own and claims 46% thermal efficiency, which would embarrass nearly every engine currently sold in an American showroom. It can drive the wheels directly, run as a generator through a 194 horsepower genset, or shut off entirely. Switching between pure electric, series hybrid, parallel hybrid, and direct drive on its own. With the battery run down, it still returns about 36 miles per gallon on the Chinese test cycle, in a 1,400 horsepower family truck. But the spec that should actually terrify the legacy automakers is not the horsepower. It is the charging. The 8X is built on a full 900-volt electrical architecture, with 6C charging running either a 55.1 or a 70 kilowatt-hour battery. 20 to 80% takes 9 minutes. 9-10 minutes plugged in adds roughly 174 miles of electric range. Think about what that means. Most pure electric vehicles sold in America today cannot charge that fast, and this is the hybrid. Electric range runs from about 198 to 255 miles depending on trim, on China's optimistic test cycle. So shave that number for reality. Stack the battery on top of a 14.5-gallon tank and total combined range reaches as high as 880 miles, Los Angeles to Denver with 1 splash of gas. The car will even push out 60 kilowatts of DC power to run a job site or rescue a stranded EV. Now here is where the rest of the money went, and this is the part a spec sheet cannot show you. Every single trim gets closed, dual-chamber air suspension, dual-valve electromagnetic adaptive dampers, and 48-volt active anti-roll bars. That is hardware from 6-figure German flagships, standard on the cheapest version. An AI chassis brain reads the road ahead and softens the suspension before you hit the broken pavement, then firms it up before the mountain road begins. You never touch a setting, and it does one thing I have never seen at this price. If the sensors detect an unavoidable side impact, the system physically lifts that side of the body in 0.7 seconds. So the crash energy hits the reinforced rocker structure instead of your door and your hip. The body itself twists at 42,400 Newton meters per degree, built with 2,000 megapascal hot-formed steel door rings and a one-piece cast aluminum rear end. 12 airbags. The battery pack sits behind 9 layers of side protection, 8 layers underneath, and 5 layers on top. Inside, ZEEKR made the one decision almost nobody in this segment makes. No third row. While every rival crams in seats nobody uses, the 8X is a deliberate 5-seater, with a 6-seat option. The payoff is about 10.5 inches of second-row knee room, a reclining lounge chair in back that lays out to 137 degrees with heat, ventilation, and massage, and 40 cubic feet of cargo space that opens to nearly 78 with the seats down. 4 carry-ons and a stroller swallowed whole. The fridge cools to 21 degrees Fahrenheit and heats to 122, so it hands you a cold drink in July and warm milk for the baby in January. Napa leather, real wood, a suede headliner, a 44-inch augmented reality head-up display, twin 16-inch screens up front, a 17-inch OLED theater screen that folds from the ceiling for the back row, and a NIME sound system pushing 2,160 watts. The driver assistance stack runs dual NVIDIA Thor chips with 1,400 TOPS of compute, up to 5 lidars on the flagship, and 43 sensors total. Handling highway piloting, city piloting, and automated parking, with emergency braking and automatic evasive steering standard. One honest caveat: some of those functions arrive through future software updates, and ZEEKR has missed software dates before. Judge this car by what it does the day you sign, not by what the presentation promised. So, the price. Slow down for this one. The flagship Yoing Edition, the fastest hybrid SUV ever built, lists at 500,800 yuan. At current exchange rates, that is roughly $70,500. $70,000 for Lamborghini humbling acceleration, $1 million chassis hardware, and a first-class cabin. The base max trim starts around $50,000, and launch incentives pulled it closer to $46,000. ZEEKR even threw in 1,000 kilowatt-hours of free charging per year for 5 years for returning customers. In America, $70,000 is a nicely optioned mid-size luxury SUV with a fraction of this hardware. Which brings us back to the opening question. What did buyers do in those first 29 minutes? 10,000 of them placed deposits, enough traffic to crash the app, and 95.6% skipped the entry trims and bought Ultra or higher, pushing the average order past 40,000 yuan short of 410,000. Call it 56,000 plus dollars. A Chinese brand asked German flagship money, held nothing back on the product, and buyers sprinted upmarket. That is the story, not the horsepower. If you could walk into this configurator tomorrow, here is the call. Skip the $70,000 Yoing unless you simply want the crown. The dual motor car already delivers 885 horsepower and a 3.7-second sprint, which is severe overkill for 100% of school runs. Buy the Ultra, bank the difference. And if you genuinely need a third row every week, walk away entirely and buy the 6 or 7 seat rivals this car deliberately refuses to be. For everyone in America, the takeaway is simpler and a little uncomfortable. The world's fastest hybrid SUV costs about $70,000. You cannot have one, and the people who build your next car know exactly what is coming across the water. That is not a press release, that is a warning shot.